Hello, my name is Horace Dobson, one of your future political leaders here in the city of Boca Raton, Florida. You may have noticed that I'm wearing a pink beanie. This is called Proton Pink by Dungeon Forward. This is a company out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Each of the hats, caps, and beanies have a meaning. This designer is not a W-2 employee, but he is classified as 1099, and he's also a millionaire. I have my cigar ready right here for Friday. For Friday, I plan on getting some good news that I'll share with you in another video. So I plan on lighting this up then. Today, I'm going to share with you the difference between W-2 and 1099. W-2 just basically means you work for someone else. You trade hours for dollars. You work an hour, you get paid an hour's wages. You work for dollars, in other words. If you don't work, you don't get paid. Now, on the other hand, 1099 means you work for yourself, but not necessarily by yourself. If you were to stop working, you would still receive income. Wages are different from income. How many hours are there in a week? There's 168 hours in a week. In 1998, I was making about $20 as a registered nurse, working at the hospitals and things like that. So theoretically, if it was possible for me to work 168 hours, I would have been making $3,360 a week. And that's if I worked 168 hours a week. But it's not practical, since I would not, I would still need to eat and sleep. But I still wanted to net $3,000 a week. So what do? I started a temporary staffing agency for registered nurses called Impact Healthcare Staffing. We were located in Lincoln Park, Michigan at the time. Now, we were exposed to loans for invoices. This was a bank that actually specialized in buying invoices. So we had a bank called the Bank of Lenawee that would give us 87% of the value of our invoices up front. They would charge us 3% as a fee, and they would hold 10% in a reserve account for us just in case one of our clients' invoices didn't come through or didn't pay in a timely fashion. But with my company, I had about 10 full-time employees. I serviced about 5 nursing homes with registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, and nurses' aides. Now, my markup was on average between my nurses' aides, and licensed practical nurse was about $10 an hour. So I was staffing about 400 hours a week between 10 people, which was about 40 hours per person. Now, after taxes and overhead, I was clearing about $7 an hour. So $7 an hour times 400 hours, I was clearing every week about $2,800. Now, I was happy making $150,000 a year utilizing the efforts of others. They were happy with the wages that I was paying them. My clients were happy with the rates I was giving them, and I was happy with the income I was receiving. Now, don't forget, $150,000 a year went a lot further 20 years ago than it does today. J. Paul Getty, one of America's first billionaires, said that I'd rather have 1% of 100 men's efforts than 100% of my own. Now, either you are either a J. Paul Getty, 1099, or you're one of his 100 men, W-2. We're doing a documentary called Out to Prove. I'm going to show you how $199 can put $5,000 plus of your own money back in your own pocket. 99% of Congress has a small business for a reason. They say success leaves clues. So what does that mean? That means you should start a business. Tax codes are made for them. So I'm going to expose to you their secret and how you can benefit. 2 very important books that will change your financial life are Misfortune, which pays special attention to chapter 11, and Lower Your Taxes. You can read the whole book. The whole book is informative. Now, with the Out to Prove documentary, a W-2 employee, say you're making $100,000 a year, and you're being taxed about 40%. So that means you're taking home about $5,000 a month or $60,000 a year. Now, if you were 1099 making that same $100,000 and you have a significant amount of write-offs, you're only being taxed, say, on $70,000 a year. But what does that mean? That means if you're only being taxed on $70,000 and another person's being taxed on $100,000 and you're both being taxed at 40%, that person would take home $60,000 a year, but the 1099 would take home $7,200 a year. That's $12,000 more of their own money. They didn't make any more, but there's $12,000 more of their own money that they're able to keep in their paycheck. Now, just small examples, how does this accrue so fast? If you're driving for a business appointment, you're able to deduct 56 cents per mile. If you're out to dinner with a client and you pay, 60% of that is tax-free. If you buy a $1,000 cell phone, which is cheap nowadays, you buy a $1,000 cell phone, 100% of that is deductible. So basically, let's do the math on that. Would you pay $199 to save $5,000? With this one thing alone, a cell phone, you've already saved netted $300 because a $1,000 phone, for you to pay $1,000 net, you got to make $1,400 gross. So you've already, right off the bat, saved $300 cash that you could put back in your pocket. Now, at the PHP agency, where I'm classified as 1099, this is how it works. If I want to make $250,000 a year or $20,000 a month with the PHP agency, at my current commission level, which I'm not going to give you, I would need to write $500,000 worth of policies. That's $41,666 a month in premiums, or $1,388 a day in premiums. That's if I was to do it all myself. But I'm not going to do it all myself. I'm going to take J. Paul Getty's advice, and which he said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate the efforts of others. So for me to make $250,000 a year, I would need to write one policy a month personally, and I would write one policy a month, which is $36,000 a year gross, or $18,000 a year net. Now, if I had 20 reps doing one policy a month, that's $60,000 a month times my override. I'll give you that, which is 30% override. That's $18,000 a month times 12 months. That's $216,000 a year. So my personal production of $18,000 total net plus the $234,000 according to the efforts, utilizing the efforts of others. You see what I'm saying? Now, we were together collectively be grossing $756,000 for the year. Now, our goal for this year, 2021, is to write $1 million worth of premiums collectively. Now, if you would like to find out more on how you can participate, become involved in what we're doing, become involved in the documentary, text me, email me, or just inbox me for more information.